Well, hey everybody, it's Bob from Mountain Crest Farm. Oh, today's going to be a coffee chat. Yes, I still do them every now and then. It's going to be kind of a weird coffee chat though. Don't have any coffee. Oh, me. It's not first thing in the morning. It's actually about 4:30 in the afternoon. Huh, strange coffee chat. What's not strange about it is I don't have a clue what I'm going to talk about. But as y'all know, I usually come up with something to run off at the mouth about. Um, I guess what I really want to talk about today gets dangerously close to the one topic that is banned on this channel, and that's politics. I really don't want politics on this channel. I promise you I don't want politics on this channel. I don't want to offend anybody. I'm sure I've got some folks out there that are viewers that don't agree with me politically. Um, don't want to make anybody mad. Don't want to run anybody off. But you know, with what's going on in this world and this country today, there's some things that just they transcend political parties. They transcend political beliefs. They're about politics, but they're not about any particular policy or anything. Where has civility gone? Now, I'm a real political animal. Some of y'all, I think, are friends of mine on Facebook, and you know how political I am. Even though I hadn't been on Facebook for a month and a half. I'm not going to be on Facebook probably for another month and a half. If y'all know what's going on with my health issues, until surgery's over with, I'm pretty much staying away from Facebook. I got better things to do than get my blood pressure up arguing politics. But for those of you who are my Facebook friends, you know how political I am. I'm political everywhere. I argue politics. I fight politics locally here. I'm real involved where I live. Um, used to be real involved on a statewide level in Georgia. And I'm one of those nut jobs that calls my congressman and calls my senators a couple of times a week, express my opinion, tell them when I think they're screwing up. And keeping politics off this channel has been tough. I managed it so far. And today's not going to be party politics, and it's not even going to touch on an issue. It's going to touch on civility. I've been political my whole adult life. I first ran for public office when I was 17 years old. You know, back then, I've always been conservative. When I was a teenager, I was conservative. I know. Everybody's heard the old joke. If you're under 30 and conservative, you have no heart. And if you're over 30 and liberal, you have no brain. Well, I was under 30 and conservative, so I guess I was heartless. But I've always been conservative. I've always had liberal friends. I'm from Georgia, for God's sake. If you don't have Democratic friends, or back then when I was 17 years old, 40 something years ago, you didn't have any friends. I was real political. Some of my friends were real political. Some of my friends were real political on the more Democratic side. We were still friends. We talked. We had a good time. Nobody does that anymore. Back then, in the 60s and 70s, people that protested the government smoked dope and had sit-ins. Now they put a rock in a sock, wear a black clothes, and put a mask on their face and go try to hurt people. You know, the Antifa crowd. Back then, when politicians in Washington, D.C. disagreed, they sit down and they had civil discussions. Now we have the leader of the minority party in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, standing on the steps of the Supreme Court threatening physical violence. And yes, that's what he did. Threatening physical violence if two Supreme Court justices didn't vote his way on an issue. I don't care what issue it is, and I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. That's wrong. And yes, he did threaten violence. This day and time, when somebody of power, I don't care if it's Chuck Schumer, I don't care if it's Donald Trump, I don't care if it's Ted Cruz, I don't care if it's Nancy Pelosi, when they say things like, "We're coming to get you," there's nut jobs out there that will take that as an invite to violence, that their leaders are encouraging them to do violence. I can think of two instances that have happened in the last couple of years. When Representative Scalise was damn near killed practicing for a baseball game, a Democrats versus Republicans baseball game. And some nut job listened to his fearless leaders and all their rhetoric and decided he was going to go out and kill some Republicans. The other one is Democrat, or is liberal versus conservative, and I don't mean to be picking on liberals, because Republicans run off at the mouth too. Guy that went up in D.C. and shot up, or went to shoot up, Family Research Council, I think. It's a conservative, pro-life, anti-abortion think tank. And he did it because people who in power were pro-abortion and talked really bad about the Republicans and their supporters, and he went and tried to kill some of them. There was violence back when I was a kid. I was 8 years old when John F. Kennedy was murdered. He was murdered by a nut job. They were all nut jobs. Obviously, when his brother Robert Kennedy was killed a couple of years later, I was alive then. I was watching TV and saw Ronald Reagan being shot live on TV. I don't remember if I saw it live, but I can remember when Squeaky Fromme, I'll never forget that weird name. I remember when Squeaky Fromme tried to kill Gerald Ford. It's not like there's never been violence. I mean, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated watching a play, for heaven's sake. But not like today. Today it's all the time. You can't have a conversation without it getting heated. You can't have a town hall meeting. Democrat has a town hall meeting. Conservatives go and interrupt it and pretend like they want to ask questions, but the question becomes a diatribe and the person having the town hall meeting can't answer. And Democrats do the same thing. And don't even get me started on college campuses. College campuses are supposed to be a place of open thought, free exchange of ideas. Instead, nowadays, if somebody's going to be a speaker on a college campus with a point of view that you don't agree with, I don't care if it's a pro-life speaker, I don't care if it's a pro-Israel speaker, there's some group out there that's going to disrupt the meeting. They're not going to let the person talk. They don't want exchange of ideas. People talk about tolerance, but damn, the only thing they're tolerant of is their own view. They won't listen to the other side. And yes, I'm talking about Republicans, conservatives too. I know of Republicans that are just as bad. This stuff's got to quit, or we're going to lose our country. Now, people talk about protecting our democracy. Well, I got news for you folks. We don't live in a democracy. Thank God. We live in a democratic republic. You know what a democracy is? Democracy is mob rule. When one vote more on one side than on the other wins the argument, that's democracy. And that's mob rule. In a democracy, if you've got a bicycle and 50 people over here want it taken away from you and 49 people over here want you to keep it, you lose your bicycle because of one more person. It's wrong. Democracy's wrong. Here's what democracy is. Democracy is 2 wolves and 1 lamb voting on the dinner menu. That's democracy. You know what liberty is? Liberty is when that lamb has an AR-15. But back to the civility thing, folks. We have got to start having civil discussions. You don't have to agree with me. I've got lots of friends that I don't agree with. They don't agree with me. I'm very much pro-life. I read the Bible and it tells me that God said that he knew me in my mother's womb. That means when I was a fetus, I was a living being, and I am pro-life. I've got friends that they call it pro-women's choice. I call it pro-killing a baby. I've got friends, we have discussions. I hope I'll change their mind one day, and they hope they'll change mine. But we have civil discussions. We got to bring civil discussions back, people. Because the way this country is going now, where you can't talk, where it's always a fight, we will lose this country as we know it. We live in the best country on earth, which is something that the people that protest the way this country is run, now I've got some problems with the way the country's run. I'm the biggest capitalist you've ever seen in your life. I am not a corporatist, which is where I see us having gone and moving in that direction. But the same people that gripe about a capitalist society, they organize their meetings on a damn iPhone. Was the iPhone invented by a socialist, communist country where people, I'm going to make the same thing as him, why should I want to innovate? No. I'm a big capitalist, and I'll argue capitalism versus socialism. All socialism is, by the way, is communism with a smile on its face. I keep going off, but it keeps coming back. We've got to start having civil discussions. Don't have to all agree with me. I don't have to agree with you. We can get together and maybe you'll change my mind on something. Maybe I'll change your mind on something. Maybe we'll walk away agreeing to disagree. Pleasantly agreeing to disagree. If you want to be a totally far out, way out there nut job, yeah, then we got a problem. Because nut jobs are dangerous. But if you've got strongly held beliefs and you're a decent person of any kind, we've got to start having civil discussions. There, I broke my rule. It wasn't exactly politics, but it was sort of politics. It was a state of politics today. So, hope I didn't make anybody too mad. If I did, you'll get over it, or you won't. That's y'all's problem, not mine. Don't forget my live streams every Sunday at 6 o'clock. If you like the video, go down there and give me a thumbs up. Think I'm full of bull? If you like Antifa, you don't like the fact that I ran them down, go down there and give me a thumbs down. And if you don't subscribe to the channel, but you like this video or anything else you see on the channel, subscribe and hit that little bell so you'll get notifications. And don't forget, like I say, don't forget the live streams. Live streams are every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Soon they'll be back outside. They won't be inside like they have been. It's kind of blustery today. But y'all have an awesome week, and I'll see you in the next video. And don't forget, those awesome weeks, awesome days, awesome months, awesome years, they're not easy, but they're really super simple. Just remember two things. Number one, the tomb was empty. And number two, he is alive. Always remember, he is alive. I'll see y'all next time, okay?